All right. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome and thank you for joining this session. Your voice, your vote, your power, stepping into membership. We have a really incredible panel today with four powerhouse caregivers, truly, cooperative co-owners and also advocates for caregiver rights and job quality, all of who will be sharing their unique journeys of coming to their home care cooperatives and really stepping into increasing roles of engagement and responsibility. I'm Katrina Kazda. I'm the director of the home care program at the ICA group. And our panelists today are Terrell, who's the director of training at Home Care Associates of Philadelphia, where she has served for an impressive 29 years, beginning as a caregiver and peer mentor. Julia Nelson, who's office assistant, board chair, trainer, and caregiver at Circle of Life Home Care Cooperative in Bellingham, Washington, where she's worked for 7 years. Teresita Sattar, who's a caregiver at Courage Home Care Cooperative in Los Angeles, California, where she's been a caregiver owner for 6 years, but brings over 27 years of experience in healthcare and is an advocate for human rights and social justice, really just involved in a lot of different activities around that. And then Zulma Torres, who's a home health aide at Cooperative Home Care Associates in the Bronx, where she's been a caregiver for over 23 years and has also worked in CHCA's home office and serves as a translator in a nursing home. Each of these panelists have truly incredible backgrounds, so I strongly encourage you to read their full bios on the conference platform to get to know them a little bit better. So welcome, everybody. Let's see, I'm going to just ask the organizers to make sure everybody is spotlighted, and then we'll jump into the questions. All right. Let's see, so yeah, all right, there, I can see everybody, wonderful, welcome. So the first question, really just to jump in, is, you guys are all really powerful leaders at your cooperatives now. And if you could just kind of start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came to work at your home care cooperative. And if you're able, kind of touch on what really led you and compelled you to accept a job at your home care cooperative as opposed to a non-cooperative agency. So we'll kick this question off with Terrell Cannon. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terrell Cannon from Home Care Associates. I started Home Care Associates in 1993. Prior to home care, I was working in various jobs where I wasn't appreciated, the work wasn't valued, and it was this ever recycling wheel of just in and out of jobs. I was introduced to Home Care Associates through my welfare caseworker. She pretty much got tired of me coming to her office week after week, trying to figure out where do I fit, because I was fed up with how the jobs I was working at were treating me. I worked in manufacturing, I worked in a nursing home, I did some modeling, and I didn't like any of it because it did not drive me to be my best. It was just, you're on the clock, go to work, spend 8 hours and go home. Nobody really cared about what I thought or where I was going in my life or my goals. So my caseworker heard about Home Care Associates through a mutual friend, and she introduced me. She said, I think this company will be great for you. They're talking about ownership, and that's soon to come. So I think you'll be a great fit for this since you like caring for others. So I went to Home Care Associates. The first day I got there, I was sold. I walked into a job interview where people greeted me by name. The workers that were there were coming from a meeting with their superiors, talking about what is going to make their jobs easier. I was encouraged to talk with other workers, employees in the company. And I was sold then. I'm like, if this is the environment that I'm going to be working in, and I know that I'm in home care, I'm in a consumer's home, but I watched how the staff was talking with the employees and soon realized that the staff is the employees. And I really enjoyed being in a place where they value the workers' ideas, opinions, and decisions to make the company succeed.
I love that. Thank you so much, Terrell. Clearly, all of those other employers didn't know that they were dealing with a force.
Right.
So I'm glad you landed at Home Care Associates. Awesome. Well, welcome. All right, we'll go to Julia next. So Julia, tell us a little bit about your journey to Circle of Life.
Yeah, hi. Well, I'm Julia, and I started with Circle of Life in 2015, minus an extended leave. I have been there ever since. I currently serve as the board chair and office assistant, and I also do some training coordination, on-site medical equipment and skills training, and basically wherever needs support is where I land. I was one of those people that started working as soon as I could. I was shoveling snow, mowing lawns, babysitting, whatever it was. And as soon as I was able to legally work, I did. What I found was kind of similar to Terrell. I didn't really fit anywhere. The majority of my employers were corporate, larger employers, and I usually can only last about 6 months there. All of my favorite jobs were small business owners who cared about what their employees thought, and those were almost always seasonal. So I really found myself going back and forth. I've always been a caregiver for others. My little brother, when he had cancer, my grandfather had a leg amputated once, all sorts of stuff. And that was how I spent the majority of my childhood. So when someone mentioned that I should check out caregiving, it was just kind of a no-brainer as soon as they mentioned it. And I interviewed for agencies around Bellingham, and then I was actually at a family barbecue, and one of the people there said, "I work at Circle of Life. You didn't apply. I would know. You should come interview." And I did, and it just like with Terrell, it was automatic that this is where I wanted to be. And so when I was interviewing and I found out that they want you to attend board meetings, they want you to be involved, they want you on committees, finance transparency. There were all these things that motivated me to stay. And working with and owning a business that respects boundaries and treats their staff and clients well, and that really prioritizes your family and your personal life, not just the bottom profit line, was absolutely huge for me. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, what an interesting background. And I love that everything you said goes against, some of the common refrains in the larger industry that people just fall into home care, into caregiving. It clearly was a chosen path for you. So I love that. All right, thank you. Teresita, would love to hear from you about your story. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. I am Teresita. I am coming from Los Angeles, California. A member of the Filipino Workers Center, and also and a co-owner of the Courage Home Care in Los Angeles. I had been a health worker and then went to caregiving since 6 years ago. I joined the Courage Cooperative. At first, as a care worker, and then eventually they have asked me, and they have considered me to become a member, a co-owner of Courage Home Care, and it was a thoughtful decision making, because I know that to become a business owner takes responsibilities and accountabilities. But because I love helping others, and I thought that it was like a continuation of my being a healthcare worker. Helping others with compassion and love it's in my heart. And so whatever it will be, maybe either in my caregiving services or in our advocacies, because I am also I am a member of such organizations that supports human rights, workers' rights. We advocating all these workers' rights and immigrants' rights as well, since I belong to the immigrant community. And it's it's for me, it's a good fulfillment on my part, being able to help others in the community as well, being an advocate and a worker on an owner, co-owner of Cooperative.
Thank you so much, Teresita. Yeah, and I think so many cooperative caregivers are really active advocates, and it's really wonderful to see. Very powerful group. All right, and so Zulma, welcome. Would love to hear how you found your way to CHCA so many years ago.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Zulma Torres. I work for Cooperative Home Care Associates. I've been a home health aide for 24 years. It's been a journey. It's been a great experience. And I tell you all, Cooperative has been my first job in my whole entire life. And I have learned so much. And being part of Cooperative has opened so many doors, and I grew so much that I am amazed. I love the community that I work for. And I'm a proud member of a worker-owned company as well for Cooperative. So I started working with Cooperative young. I was about 20 years old. It means to maintain my children. My sister-in-law had said that she went to a quick orientation, and she told me, just go and try it out. You know, she always has said that I was a caring person, that maybe that'll work out for me. So I took a chance and I went. And ever since that day, I'm still working for Cooperative Home Care. So all my experience I learned with them, all the support I get from them. I'm blessed to be part of that team. We do care for one another. We have peer mentors that guide us, give us support. And as they also give us opportunity in office, and also an opportunity to be an advocate to what we do and to share with you guys the experience and the journey that we go through. So it's been great. Going forward, it's been awesome. Thank you.
That's amazing. What a great story. I love that this is your first job and no place else needed. That's awesome.
Yes.
What a testament. Well, thank you so much. So we'll go on to the next question, because I'm so curious. You know, of course, you are all really invested in your cooperatives now, but I wondered, did you become a member owner right away when you first became eligible? If yes, what really drew you into membership and sort of led you to the decision that, yes, I must get involved in this, I must be a member owner? Or if not, what made you hesitate? And, you know, what was the ultimate transformation? So I'll put this question to Julia first.
You're switching it up on me. So, you know, I'm a fan of full transparency, and I did not join the co-op to be an owner or to be heavily involved. I joined the co-op because I needed that wage increase. So at the time, they were doing a partial payment for HCA certifications, and I did that. And then at the 6-month mark, I joined because I needed the money. You know, I had a young child, and well, he's still young, he's 8 now. And it was just really at the time necessary. And part of becoming a member for Circle of Life is attending a board meeting. And so that is what I did. And when I was at the board meeting, I was really surprised to find out that they would go through the agenda, and then they would ask anyone else in attendance if they wanted to say anything. And it didn't matter if they were a member, it didn't matter how long they'd been with the co-op. It was, you know, we're discussing this potential future. What do you think about that? And it just kind of blew me away, because, you know, people will say, oh yeah, we want your opinion when they hire you, but that's not necessarily true, right? I think we've all been there, except for maybe Zulma. So as soon as I attended that board meeting, even though it was not my motivation for becoming a member, as soon as that happened, I went, oh my gosh, you know, I can actually be involved. And I immediately joined committees. I was on the finance and marketing committees, and I used to own a industrial sewing business. And one of the things that I wanted to do was some sort of fundraiser. A lot of people in my family sew, and when you get to a certain age, you can't do it anymore because your hands just won't. So we coordinated at our local senior center a free mendathon, which someone had brought back as an idea from a previous CDF conference. And so we ended up doing that, and it was really successful. We had so many people in there, and it just really warmed my heart. There was no charge, right? But Circle of Life paid all of us to go do it, which was also very surprising. And so having access to that kind of an environment in that community feel really led me to dig in deeper as a member owner.
I love that. Thank you so much. And I think it was Equality that launched the Mendathon. So credit to them. What a great idea. Thank you so much, Julia. All right, I will toss it back to Terrell. I'm switching it up on you guys. So you're still on mute.
Okay. I was sold the first day of my interview. I have never been into a organization that asks the workers, what do you need? What do we need to do together to make your job easier? At the time, they were just talking about transportation at the time. But that one little question was like, what? They're asking the workers what, you know, they need to do in order to work better or easier. So I was sold then. So when we inducted the worker ownership program in 1995, I was already signed it on the dotted line because I knew that this, from working there from 93 to 95, I was approached to assist in training. I was asked to be a mentor. I was asked to help lead one of our committees that was a worker committee, which was a happiness committee. What company has a happiness committee? So I'm like, okay, they're asking me to do all of these things. And then and like Julia, I go to the board meeting, and I was surprised to see that the board was made up of majority of the employees. That's what sold me. And because they were already asking my opinion, they already sent me to higher education to become a trainer. So I became a trainer through my co-op as well. And at that board meeting, when I saw majority of the workers coming in, and then there was food, I'm like, okay, this is different. You know, now they send me to school, give me all of this education, all of these skills, and feed me. It was a win-win. And then now that I go into the 2000s where we began to grow, we got more and more members in our co-op, and working with the members and the help managing some of because we gained more committees, it just kept me going. And even still today, and doing this conference every year and doing other speaking engagements and networking with other co-ops, I'm still excited. I'm still, it's just, again, there's so much more that I know we have to come, because in co-ops, the education, the skills, the support doesn't stop. And that's what keeps me sold into the co-op difference.
I love that so much. Thank you. And the happiness committee, that is always something I think about. Such a beautiful concept. Thank you. All right, Teresita, how about you? Did you become a member right away? What was that process like for you? Oh, let's see, you're on mute.
Yeah. First, I was a caregiver, giving direct care to our clients who had been contracted with the Courage Cooperative. And then they asked me, would you be willing to become a co-owner. And I thought to myself, I had a second thought, maybe. I said maybe, and then I said maybe because, as I said, it takes responsibilities and accountabilities to become one of a co-owner. And then as a caregiver and being a strong supporter of advocacy towards human rights and justice to domestic workers and immigrants' rights, particularly to equality and economic sustainability, it is, with my organizational affiliations with the Filipino Workers Center, the California Domestic Workers Coalition, and the National Domestic Workers Alliance. Being a member, co-owner of Cooperative, we try to put in together whatever we had been advocating for, not only for the rights of workers. As an owner, I have the feeling that, of course, being an owner, I also have the feeling of giving opportunities to workers to become one. And so we give them as they have given me through the organizations that I affiliate with workers development, giving us trainings, seminars to become more motivated, more productive in giving contributions not only to our community, but to our nation building, society building. And so that's how I came to be. It's not only helping others in my caregiving service, but also to others whom I know, especially domestic workers, are being excluded to some labor rights. They are being violated. And even especially I notice that in the immigrant communities, mostly they are being discriminated. As domestic workers, we are overworked, undervalued. And so we advocate for dignity and respect to all, not only to the owners, but also to our workers. That's how I came to be as an owner and worker leader with courage.
I love that, worker leader. That's a perfect term. I think we'll adopt that. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Just this much bigger responsibility that you're carrying, and it's a really important one. So thank you. All right, Zulma, how about you? Did you become a member right away, and what was that process like for you?
Well, in the beginning, I didn't become a member right away, but I was that person that would share the story. It's a great company, become a worker owner. And I guess I wasn't focused. And they Cooperative do provide you meetings and they tell you what's all about when it's all awesome. But I guess it was my time that I realized, I have to learn more. We start learning every day what we about as a home health aide. We are more than what people think. And we have opportunities with Cooperative. So I went one day to the office and I was talking to JC. We was just having a conversation about a worker owner. And we spoke for a while. And I said to myself, what is taking me so long to join when it's there for me? So I decided that I'm going to become a worker owner. I did what I had to do, and I'm happy about it. I'm not going to say I wish I did it before, because I want to do things when they're supposed to be done, so you could be focused, because there's so much that we learn and there's so much offer and what they give us that sometimes we bypass these things, as I did. for myself. But now I'm focused and I'm happy I'm a worker owner and post to other companies that they get paid hourly. Cooperative does offer us a lot of benefits. So I'm so grateful that I work for them. So that's how I became a worker owner.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I love this notion that you said of, we're so much more than they
Yes.
think, we're capable of so much more. I think very clearly
Yes.
you are all
Thank you.
demonstration of that. So yeah, beautiful. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
so we'll move to the next question. And, of course, feel free to jump off of what others are saying as well. But so membership, sort of by the structure, requires some level of participation, whether that's attending the annual meeting, voting for board members, but each of you have really stepped into membership and leadership roles, worker leaders, in very meaningful ways, whether that's participating in membership committees, which many of you have talked about, serving on the cooperative board, taking on administrative roles, and or acting as caregiver advocates in public spaces. And you guys have sort of spanned this whole gamut. So, if you could each talk about what really compelled you to lean into membership, and really, just step in and kind of move farther and farther into these, sort of like really engaged leadership roles. And also, if you remember, I know for some of you it was a long time ago, but what that was like for you early on, maybe it was a little intimidating or scary. And so just kind of reflecting on, what really compelled you to lean in and what that was like. So I'll start this question with Teresita.
Yeah. Oh, what compelled me to lean as to my membership role in the thought of helping others. As I said, it is not only in my case, it is not only through my caregiving services, but also to my advocacy campaign services and campaigns. Because I really want to, through these actions, I really feel that I need to help others too. Since I know that especially for domestic workers, they are as I said before, they are being excluded from many services. The access to services really makes me sad when I know that domestic workers are not being given this kind of access. Like to mostly of domestic workers, they are not given the access to healthcare, to safety and protection of their workplaces. So we are advocating dignity and respect to to all the domestic workers, since I believe that all human beings deserves dignity and respect, and safety and workplace in their safety and protections in their workplaces. Most of all of us wants that. And so this is my most passion in my heart, to be able to help not only on my clients, or but to my communities as well. And so being a strong supporter of human rights and social justice, and I am also grateful being a co-owner of the cooperative that have given me the opportunity of having my own business and getting not only getting profits, but also to give opportunities to low-wage income group workers, especially, as I said, in my heart, near to my heart, the domestic workers, to become entrepreneurs, building worker leaderships through workforce development trainings and seminars, giving their dignity and respect from the community where they live, where they work. And I believe that people are, when they are accorded with this kind of values, dignity and respect, people will be able to give their best in the work, and then they will become more productive and giving more better quality care and able to contribute to the progress and of the society and our nation building. And as I said, being to my advice to caregivers who are considering membership on taking leadership roles, well, we have to be having passion, patience, kindness, perseverance, and consistent in practicing what you advocate, because challenges is always along the way, and also to continue learning along. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresita. I think we all feel your passion and would agree you're changing the world right now. So thank you for those beautiful comments and just, yeah, all of the work that you're doing. I'm going to kick it over to Julia, actually, because I had the honor of doing a pre-practice session with everyone here, and Julia really picked up on this topic of respect and the lack of respect that often occurs outside of the cooperative, outside of cooperative agencies. So, going to kick this question back to you, Julia, and really just thinking about what really compelled you to lean in, and what that was like for you early on, and any other sort of comments you'd like to share.
Yeah. Well, I know in our practice session, I spoke a little bit about how one of the things that surprised me the most when I started with Circle of Life was that I actually did not have to work overtime, and that I would not get in trouble if I chose not to. And I know that sounds like a small thing for people that haven't been in those situations, but almost all of my jobs were like that. So for the first 6 months, I did not turn down overtime. And then one day someone pulled me aside from the office and said, "You've been working a lot of hours, and I know you have a lot going on. Like, is this even sustainable for you?" And so I told them my reasoning, and she went, "Oh my gosh, no, stop, please." But really it was that collaborative community, family first aspect of the co-op. I'd never really worked anywhere like that before. And that meaningful change that they were trying to do with the community, really, I just wanted to be a part of that. So when I had an extended leave, and when I came back from that, I immediately joined the board of directors, and shortly after that took the role of interim board chair. And that was incredibly daunting, but I had quite a bit of support from other people in the cooperative that have been on the board for longer than myself. And Deborah Craig, who I'm sure many of you have heard about at this point in the conference, with the Northwest Cooperative Development Center. She was a wonderful resource. She just kind of gave me her cell phone number and said, "If you need me, call me anytime." And I went, "What? That's really strange." But she took me through all these trainings. She taught me how to do annual evaluations, how to run the annual meetings, how to go about with member voting. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that she took the time to train me on was fantastic. And it really opened my eyes to not only the behind the scenes operations of a cooperative, but to that we're in this together kind of situation. And more than that, seeing how an involved and active board could impact members kept me doing more and more. In the last 3 years, we've gradually seen higher board meeting attendance, greater willingness to flex to meet co-op needs for client coverage, and a more enthusiastic atmosphere. And a big part of that is what you were speaking of right before I started, Katrina, which is respect. Being at a place where everyone respects each other and does their best to communicate in a very open and kind way, it really makes you want to come to work. And it makes it a lot easier for you to want to be more involved and to want to do more things. We may not have the typical, insurance and other benefits, which is definitely a goal that we're always working towards. But we have other benefits like paid training and that opportunity for involvement and the ability to walk into your office and say, hey, I don't want to go to that client anymore, and have someone listen to you. I mean, a lot of people come to us from other agencies and they say, I was forced to go to people that I experienced racism from, or that I had to provide care I was really uncomfortable with or was not trained for. And so that's kind of the number one thing that I try to get across when I conduct interviews or hire someone, is that tell us your boundaries, because we want to meet them. We don't want you to go somewhere where you're not comfortable. We don't want you to work at 2 a.m. when you want to be home with your 3-year-old, right? And so that really is that spirit of connection and community and respect is why I continue getting more and more involved.
I love that. Yeah, what a beautiful summation of kind of the cooperative difference in home care and all of those key aspects. Thank you for that, Julia. Terrell, how about you?
I can ditto what Teresita and Julia said, but it was one incident that really compelled me to do more and stay and continue to do more. I was called the glorified housekeeper. And in that moment, I was like, yes, I am a glorified housekeeper and I own the broom. So it really changed my thinking on the negativity that home health aides would get with, we were told we were lowest on the totem pole, you know, we really don't matter. But coming into Home Care Associates Co-op, I felt along with my colleagues that we were number one. So I was compelled to continue to be that voice. Because some say, well, we can't, you know, go out yelling and screaming and, you know, go to the meetings and say this. And I was like, yeah, in the co-op, you can, you know. So, you know, I was, you know, the one that me and some of my other colleagues like Yvette Beatty, who you were here from, were enjoying being the voice for caregivers, because we no longer wanted caregivers that we work with or caregivers or people coming into this field to think that being a glorified housekeeper was a bad thing. So we had to help them. We wanted to be the ones to let them understand, yes, we are glorified housekeepers. We're glorified butt wipers, but we own every piece of it. And owning every piece of it, we get to choose what type of brooms we want to use and the type, how soft the cloth will be when we wash our consumers. So it really kept me involved in the work, not just in the skills or hands-on piece of it, but also in some of the policy work and getting some of the changes made for direct care workers. Because in 1995, it was unheard of for a home care agency to offer health insurance. So then we say, wait, we need health insurance too. So we were able to and do those fighting and all of those things that we were able to do together that shaped us to 30 years later, we are still here. And I look around the corner at the ones that called me glorified housekeepers before. Somebody took their brooms back because they didn't own them. So for me, it continues to keep me and my team going, because we now got mops and shovels and everything else. This co-op difference from another agency really has shaped not only in my work life, but my personal life as well, because I'm able to not only be the voice at work, but outside of work too. So when people see me or I encounter people or talk with people and, you know, they're talking about their jobs or their differences, I always tell them, well, you know, there's a co-op in that industry that you could join and get a better job in, you know, so it can, I believe that this difference is going to be the way of the world soon. And I'm in line with the fight for that.
Here, here. Yes, yes.
Can I jump in for just a second?
Please, yes.
I just, you know, when Terrell was talking about owning the company and how people should want to gravitate more towards that, we see that a lot on the client side up here. Someone will call and go, you're a co-op, so I called you first. And I have had potential clients grill us on everything from how much our time off our caregivers get a year to what their wages are to how much voting power they have. And it's been a really cool shift to see, because that didn't happen anywhere near as much 3 years ago as it does now. I think the pandemic has in a lot of ways highlighted the importance of equitable employment. And I think it's made a huge difference in the cooperative industry.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that, Julia. That's great to hear that sort of catching on the concept and people know. Awesome. Zulma, how about you? What really compelled you to step into membership and to get, involved in advocacy and really advance in your membership role? And what was that like?
It was it's a good experience because we're entitled to vote. We have a voice, and cooperative, we're united, we're family, and the opportunities that we get there are excellent. Even in the hard times, they're there. Everyone has said everything that I would love to say, and it's awesome, their stories, and I can relate to them. But I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy that we have a worker own, as I said before, and we're entitled to share what we feel. They listen. We're a team. So when we go out there, I feel special. I don't feel like a housekeeper, exactly what Terrell was saying, because there's more to a home health aid. If you take away the home, we're health aides. And the beauty of it is that we have a co-op that protects us and that let us know, yes, we can do it. And we go out there with our heads up high to perform services with our heart and be professional about it and have that backup. Because even though we work independently, because we're not supervised, but we do have a team that's there for us. And I just think it's amazing what we do. I think people are starting to learn more now that home health aides are more than what they think. I am not a slave. I provide a service out of my heart. My headphones came off, sorry. I'm so sorry. It's what we do is amazing. Every home health aide, it's amazing. The opportunities we get to work in office, if, like she said earlier, Terrell, if we have a situation with a client, we could address it. They'll take care of it. They'll remove us if we have to. But as home health aides, we also know how to figure it out when we're there. It's communicating with one another, being selfless. But it all comes back that we do have a co-op that protect us, that they're there for us and they encourage us. And all of that is meaningful because it makes me feel, yes, Zulma, you work independent, but you have a whole team behind you. So when I go out there, it makes me feel good. I am part of something. Now, no longer people look at us like if we're just housekeepers or we're going to the store, we got to clean your home. No, we go by a care plan. And I love that. So with that being said, cooperative, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm so happy I'm involved with a co-op. There's a lot more that I will learn as we go. But I am genuinely, I tell you, I am pleased for the opportunities that we have and the team. We have a team. I call us united because we are. We just got to focus. And once we focus and we know what we have, it becomes a blessing. You go to work with a smile when you don't know it's bad. And I know that I'm more than what people say. We all are. And I'll continue going forward. So that's all I can share with you for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add to that? I raised my hand because one of the other things that made me stick is when Home Care Associates began, our sister company, Cooperative Home Care Associates, I was sent there very early on and went into that office and received the same support, got the same value from the staff, and was still sat in their meetings. And I'm coming from Philly and was still asked, what do you think? So a lot of the networking and our co-op coalition that we have continues to keep me going, because I have people like Julia, Teresita, and Zulma, whom I can always, just a phone call away, to throw ideas around. The same way with you, Katrina, there's a lot of things that we've done in our co-ops through networking to make us more grand and more better, that growth continues to keep me as well.
Thank you, Terrell. That's great. I wish we had so much more time. We're so short on time, but one of the really important questions I did want to ask all of you is about the role of training and what role training had in really giving you the confidence to step into membership. And so I'm just going to put this out there really to anybody who wants to respond and share their experience and any thoughts about specifically what kind of training maybe was most helpful to you.
Oh yeah, I can. The most important thing that they have given us training, you know, as a new owner of the cooperative, is the governance training that they have given us. Since you know, we are plain caregivers and then became an owner, so governance, the training for governance, and the team building relationship, they have given us as training that is very, very, very helpful for us. And I thank the organization, organization giving us all these informations, you know, knowledge, informations, and trainings, giving us more additional skills in governing our cooperative.
Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing that Teresita said, but I'll include the finance training pieces of that. For me was very helpful because, again, I've never been in an organization where I was able to even see what the finances look like or even understand the bottom line before I came to home care. So the trainings, like you said, the governance, the finance training, and the commitment to the loyalty of the workers came in training, because when they asked me to be a trainer, I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna give me a curriculum, I'm gonna read from that. But no, they said, no, we're gonna train you to be a trainer. And they gave that training to me. So there was various trainings that come through co-ops that helped me to understand 401k. All of those trainings that was given to us as worker owners that are still provided continues to shape the worker. And without even a thought of this worker taking this and going somewhere else, we're not, because it's here. So the trainings that were given to us are not trainings that, oh, this is just for this company. The trainings that were given to us were life sustaining trainings that I really appreciate to have the opportunity to have, because in other jobs, it was unthought of.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's beautiful. Zulma?
Yes, I agree. I agree with Terrell.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Teresita. Zulma, did you want to add?
Yes, I wanted to add, I agree with the ladies. Awesome. It's awesome to hear their story. But our training was so, I called it in cooperative, we were in the Army. It was intense. They take 4-week training. We have to study a lot. We work a lot with each other. We have a lot of in-service. Like I said before, we also have peer mentors, but I don't think no other company has such a intense training as Cooperative. And they make sure that you get it. And if you need any help, you come right back into the office. So what I want to share is that I hear a lot of stories of other companies that only have 1 week, 2 weeks. Cooperative doesn't have that. We have that 4-week training. You got to pass 2 state exams. Every week you get quizzes. They make sure you're on point. It's so much learning. And as much as they teach us, and well, not as much as they teach us, we learn a lot from these teachers. And even though a lot of these things we don't take into the field, not all the time we have to use them, but the beauty of it is that we know that if something was to happen, we know how to address it. So I love their training. I call it the Army. You have to have great punctuality. You got to be on point. And they also share unity with us. You know, we're here for one another. It's okay if you mess up on this side. We're going to help you get it right. So their training is awesome. And I just wanted to put that out.
Thank you. And Julia?
I know, I'm sorry, I'll be quick. We're out of time.
No, it's okay.
So a couple of things, I echo absolutely everything that everyone else has said. A couple of things that really stood out to me is, I don't think it's been mentioned yet, the CDF conference. I went in 2019, and that's how I met Terrell, and she's amazing, and that's a story for another day, but you know, it was really intimidating for me at first, seeing all these people that I'm sure had a much more of a right to be in the room than I did. At least that's how I interpreted it, right? But what was really great was all of these breakout sessions that you could attend to learn things that you could do that you're not currently doing for your co-op. One of those is analytics dashboards, for example. I had never even heard of an analytics dashboard, and I went to a training in 2019 at the conference, and I walked out of there going, oh my gosh, you guys, da, 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 da. And everyone else in my co-op was just kind of like, what? and I found out that our software has an analytics dashboard. So I started creating my own, and we now utilize them in board meetings and all that other stuff. And it's really just been wonderful. So that aspect of training is really fantastic. And then I think the other thing that really stands out for me training wise is learning how to communicate well with each other. It's not something that comes naturally for many people, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, right? Difficult conversations happen. But when your co-op takes the approach that you can learn how to have these difficult conversations in a good way, and just learning the process behind that and how to be that person that can have difficult conversations, but still walk away from the conversation with a solution instead of just this goal to be right. And that makes a huge difference for me with any training.
Yeah, thank you all. It pains me to end this session because you all have so much to share, so much knowledge, experience, and just beautiful wisdom. So we are at time. So unfortunately, we do have to wrap it up, but I just want to thank you all so much for participating in this panel, for sharing everything. You are all incredible, amazing people, and gives me a lot of faith that we're going to change the system with people like you leading the way. So would encourage everyone to connect with our speakers on the WOVA app, as well as directly if they're comfortable with that. I think there's a lot of conversation to be had here, and hopefully we'll do part 2 next year and keep the conversation going. So thank you all so much. We're going to go into a short break now, a little bit shorter, about 8 minutes, and then go into our next session with Asada Richards from Sankofa Research Institute. So thank you all again for this wonderful session.